It's been a while since I've done this with you guys. The last time I did it, Spurs were going through an injury crisis. And now it feels like they're just going through an injury crisis as well. Nothing much has changed. It feels like it's just gotten a lot worse, Kevin.
Well, I think it has got worse, in all honesty. There was a brief time when they managed to get a couple of players back, Romero and Van der Ven. And in their comeback games, they both broke down and are out injured again. So they were brought back, in my opinion, too early. You know, the management of players and their injuries and their fitness, I don't think has been particularly good. If you look at the list of Spurs players who are out injured, it's a hamstring strain, it's a calf strain, it's muscle related. Yeah. And it appears to be overuse type injuries. So, you know, yes, they've got great medical facilities. Yes, they've got sports scientists. But sometimes I think you have to, as a coach, just say, I need to give my boys a break. They need a bit of a rest. There you go, look at the injuries. Muscle, hamstring, okay, ankle, that's a bit different. Hamstring, not muscle, knee. You know, it's very similarly, don't you think? There's a trend.
Yeah, and I think that's probably got something to do with them being in Europe and having a good cup run, so they're probably playing more games this season than they used to play at this point. But you look at that injury list, and the majority of those will all probably be in the starting lineup today, so you can see Andrew's problem that he just can't put a full-strength team out.
In the entirety of last season, Lee and Gary, Spurs played a total of 41 games. But bear in mind, last year was, of course, a season in which Spurs weren't in Europe, so they had the liberty of, you know, a larger space between games in the Premier League. This season, as of the end of January so far, they've already played 34. They're coming close to the total number of games that they played last year. How big of a factor could that have been on their injury problems this year?
I think it's huge. Yeah, I think it's huge. And I think this is, you know, teams like Spurs want to get in the top four to get into Europe for more money coming to the club, bigger games, bigger revenue. But with that bigger revenue becomes more games, more physicalities on the players, and that's why you need to strengthen. You can't just rely on young kids coming in and filling in for certain games. The Premier League is so competitive, and you've got to be so robust to get through a season. And then when you put Champions League and the travelling as well, when you're getting back late and not being able to train and rest properly before your next game, I think it's physically really demanding, and that's why you get into the Champions League. You get more money. You have to restock and get a stronger squad.